Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for jumping on this call. It is the 1st of October and it's Monday and we're excited. This call, I'm so excited because we have my good friend, Julie Coughlin, and we have been friends for, I think, 4.5, maybe 5 years. And I'm just so blessed by her. She is a powerhouse, you guys. If you don't know Julie, my goodness, find her at an event and get to know her. She's the sweetest heart ever. She's married to Dan, and Dan is also like super fun. And I think collectively, I know Dan lost 80 pounds. I think collectively they've lost over 100 pounds together. So that's crazy town. They are parents. She's an awesome businesswoman, and you guys are gonna get so much knowledge from her. She's an amazing trainer. So as you can see, she has a PowerPoint. Like, she is actually like an insane trainer. So I'm so excited for you guys. Julie, please come on and share your story with us and tell us your rank, because I feel like it changes all the time. So tell us, what are you in Isagenix?
Thank you, Meredith. And actually, I met Meredith at my very first Isagenix event. I was with Jen Byer, who I think joined the call this morning. Jen is the person that enrolled me, and massive gratitude for Jen every day. And I remember meeting Meredith because Jen and I were in Phoenix for an ICU, and Jen and Meredith actually hadn't met either. And Meredith came running up to Jen and was like, I know you. And Jen was like, I know you too. And I was like, I don't know either of you. I mean, I knew Jen, but you know what I mean? It was so funny. And so in those weird Isagenix moments where you interact with people on social media and you feel like you know them, but then you really have never met them, and then it's all really happy and everybody hugs and then you become friends. So yes, I'm so grateful to have the chance to come on. I am going to share bits and pieces of my story, but I actually have it just kind of woven into my presentation. And just know, you guys, if the sound doesn't match my mouth, just roll with it, because I'm on 2 different devices because my microphone isn't working right now on my computer. So just don't be weirded out. Try not to be distracted if my mouth does not match my words. Okay, just call that out right away. But I'm pumped to talk today about the power of duplication, because this is a business of duplication. And if you're going to master any skills to give you the fastest amount of growth in your business, duplication needs to be up there, right? So network marketing and Isagenix is just about acquiring a skill set. It's just like any other position, career, business that you might decide to engage in. It's about attaining the skills necessary to have a successful business, to have a successful career, and network marketing is no different. We are different in that duplication is a major component of the way we operate our business. And I do come from a corporate America background. And in corporate America, there is a little bit of duplication that happens, right? If you are somebody that manages a team of people, you are constantly trying to train and bring up the next level of leaders. It's a little bit different though, right? Because in the corporate setting, maybe it was just my experience, but in my setting, you wanted to encourage the next group of leaders to come up, but not quite to be better than you, right? Because no one really wants that, because that keeps you having a job, right? So it's a little bit different in network marketing. And before I jump into my presentation, I want to share all about leverage, because that is what network marketing brings. And that's why when you leave this call, I want you to be so freaking fired up about what we have to offer people that you just cannot help but go out and tell 5 people today about this business opportunity, okay? Because here's what I want you to understand. Fully grasp this. If you remember nothing else from my presentation, remember this slide. As a solopreneur, okay, you are a single business owner. It's just you and your big, bold, audacious dream. If you work 16-hour days, which, let's be honest, I know we have Brian Fish, a few other entrepreneurs on the call today. 16-hour days is that's probably a good day, right? If you work 16 hours a day, 365 days in a year, the most you can give to your business, to your dream, to helping your family move forward, 5,084 hours, productive hours, okay? And that's working 365 days a year. And you guys, I am a hard worker, but I really don't want a business rep to work 365 days a year, okay? But that's for another call. In network marketing, I want you to consider that it would take 16 people doing 1 hour a day for 365 days for you to get the same number of productive hours. Okay, do you get that? If you get that, I want to see the chat blowing up, because 16 hours a day times 365 days a year to get the same number of productive hours as it takes 16 people to work 1 hour a day. Okay, are you with me? Are you with me in understanding why duplication is so critical in this business? On the flip side, if you built your organization, you focused on duplication, you focused on understanding the skills, if you focused on connecting, if you focused on sharing the Isagenix vision and mission with more people than anyone else, and you have built yourself an amazing team of 400 people, 400 people on your team are sharing Isagenix 1 hour a day, 365 days a year. That is 146,000 productive hours in a year in your business. 146,000 hours. That would take you as a solopreneur 25 years, working 16-hour days, 365 days a year. That is insane. Okay, so I think, I'm gonna take a deep breath, but I think that you're hearing me. I think that you're feeling me, that this is why duplication matters, and this is why we have to go out and share, especially those people in your life that make you sweat. They're the successful entrepreneurs that they have no time. We have leverage in this business. But you guys, this business can be a solopreneur if you don't teach duplication, if you don't breathe duplication, if what you're doing doesn't duplicate out, right? And that is not the power of this business model. The power of this business model is leveraging your time to reach more people, okay? So we're gonna talk a little bit about what that looks like. And this is my favorite example when we talk about duplication, recipes. I love to cook, I've always loved to cook. Here's the thing, have you ever looked at a recipe and the recipe has 100 different ingredients and 50 different steps? I'm not gonna lie, I tend to love crock pot recipes. Why? Because you throw 5 ingredients in, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you set it on low, and at 5 o'clock you have a dinner. The same can be said for this business. We have to keep it simple. But I think we can all agree recipes duplicate, even the complicated ones, right? If you handed my grandmother a complicated recipe card with 50 different ingredients and 100 different steps, she might do it because she's looking to perfect the perfect, muffin. They will duplicate either way. But if you keep it simple, it will duplicate more often. Do you feel me? Do you understand what I'm saying? And I think recipes are the perfect example of duplication. It is steps. It is ingredients for success. It is doing the same thing over and over again once the recipe has been perfected. That's what we have, right? It is finding the perfect recipe that is the secret sauce. I'm gonna skip this slide. I'm not feeling that slide today. But anyway, okay, this is me. Eat it, love it, share it. That's what we're doing in Isagenix. That is what we're duplicating over and over and over again. So for so many of you that are on the call today, you don't know me. You're like, I don't know who she is. She ran into Meredith on the street, now she's on a call. So here's the thing. Before Isagenix, I was literally a burnt out mom. Man, I had literally, the year before I was introduced to Isagenix, I had hit the lowest point in my life where literally my parents came to me and they said, Julie, something has to change. They felt like they were watching me self-destruct. Imagine somebody in your life actually sitting you down and saying, something has to change, Julie. It literally, we're your parents and we're literally watching you self-destruct. Why? Because I had allowed a job to become my complete and sole identity. I was a mom, I was a wife, I was a friend, but my job was my identity and it overtook me. So while life was happening and I was watching it, I was not living it. And when Isagenix was introduced to my life the year later, after I had spent a year trying to figure out what is it that I do want out of life, I did know that I wanted to feel good. And I had come off a really hard pregnancy where my body was, oh my gosh, I felt like the life was literally sucked out of me in that pregnancy. And I thought, I have to do something for myself. And for a full year, all I did was eat it. I just did step 1. All I did was just consume the product because I needed to nourish myself. I needed to nourish my own body. I needed to start to feel alive again. So number 1, eat it. You have got to be a product of the product. That doesn't mean you are a size 0 and have a 6-pack to be a product of the product. That means you're consuming the product every single day. That means you are taking the vitamins. That means you're living and breathing what Isagenix has to offer. Are you eating the product? Number one. It was a full year before I opened myself up to the business opportunity. And Jen will laugh because I was like, no, like, don't talk to me about that. Like, don't talk to me about your business. Like, that's cool. But you know what I was seeing? I would watch Jen being bold and declaring on social media that this was going to be the means to free herself. This was going to be the means to get her home with her kids. And while I've always been a career woman, and while I couldn't necessarily align with, like, I wasn't desiring to be a stay-at-home mom, but I was desiring the freedom and the balance of doing something for myself, owning my own business, and building a stream of income for my family. Because guess what? Despite having a great career, despite having all the things going for me, we were still broke. There was still like more months than money. It was just, that was how we were living. And I actually had a call with a financial planner this morning. He's like, without a plan, you know, like when you don't have a plan in place, you'll always run out of money, right? And I thought, well, Isagenix can be the means that we can bring in this additional stream of income. And we can like breathe a little, right? The business opportunity was going to help us breathe. So number one, I ate the product, eat it. Number two, love it. I did. I had a really great product story. Dan and I, Meredith is right. Dan lost 80 pounds. I lost 40 pounds, over 120 pounds combined. We had a great product journey. But in the spirit of duplication, I want you to understand that you don't have to have that kind of transformation to build a business. That was my story. Your story is uniquely beautiful and uniquely perfect exactly as it is to do what it takes to share these products in this business. Because nothing hurts my heart more than when people say to me things like, well, you and Dan lost all that weight. It must have been easy for you to build this business. If you have ever told yourself this story, if you have ever thought, if I only had a better product story, that this would be easy for me, I want you to decide today that you're going to correct that mindset. We all have the same tools. My passion is how I enroll people in Isagenix, not because I lost 40 pounds. Do you feel me? But you have to love Isagenix. Do you love Isagenix? If you don't, that's where you need to go to work. Number one, eat it. Number two, love it. And number three is share it. We, every single day in the society we live in, we are spending time sharing things we love with people we love over and over and over again. Then we join a network marketing company. We eat their products. We love their products. And then we get weirded out by sharing it. We're like, oh my gosh, they're going to know I made $25 off them. And then this is going to be weird. And then this is going to be really awkward. And then they're like, oh my gosh, she only started me on this because I was going to make $25 and then she's never going to talk to me again. For real? I can say that because I thought it. Eat it, love it, share it. People deserve this. And I often get asked the question of what in my Isagenix journey changed my mind from being someone that just ate it and loved it, to someone who shared it. And here is what happened. I went to a Super Saturday in Madison, Wisconsin, and a woman stood at the front of the room, and she had people stand up if they had lost weight. She had people if they had gained energy stand up. If you've had increased performance at the gym, please stand up. And the next thing I knew, every person in that room was standing. And I thought to myself, this is not an anomaly. This is not just a small cross-section of society that needs these products and deserves these products. Everyone deserves these products. You have to stop any mindset struggle that you have about what your product journey is to date and that you're afraid to make money off of people. Those single-handedly, those are the two things I find hold people back the most. And today, we're deciding we're closing that chapter. We're just making that agreement. I'm just going to assume by a couple of nods that everyone that listens to this recording and is catching us live is making that agreement. We're done. Eat it, love it, share it. That's what you're duplicating over and over and over again. That foundationally, that is the recipe, you guys. Now I'm going to give you some more tips because I think that's important. I think people got off this call and they'd be like, all she said was eat it, love it, share it, and that wasn't enough. I wanted the secret sauce. I get it. I understand. We're going to go into a little bit more of what that looks like. But at the end of the day, eat it, love it, share it is the root of duplication in this business. How many people can you get to eat the products? I have plenty of happy product users. They love the product, right? So they've already hit number 1 and number 2. I'm getting a whole lot of people to start to eat it, and I'm getting a whole lot of people to love it. And there's things that you can do as their enrolling sponsor to ensure that they have a positive product experience and that they love that. And you need to take ownership for that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then share it. Other people deserve this. And there's a lot of elements that kind of go into that. So you plus 2, them plus 2. Is that the old? Is that the old? I don't know. Starts with you. Basically, here's the thing. You guys, it starts with you. You have to eat it. You have to love it. You have to share it. So I will say 100 times over, duplication is a skill. And it is a skill that people will replicate what you do and they will replicate what you don't do. So if you think that you're like silently sitting at home and you're really active in the Facebook groups and your team probably thinks that you're reaching out to people, but you're actually not reaching out to people, it's like some weird like thing that happens and they just know. And I know this because I have gone through lulls where I have stopped doing income producing activity and I'm still like active. I'm still doing calls. And yet all of a sudden, like everybody in my team stopped doing income producing activities. And I'm like, whoa, that was weird. You have to do it. Eat it, love it, share it, okay? So duplication is a skill. And I always talk about Isagenix in terms of like, you have many, many tools in your toolbox that can duplicate your business. Tools will build your business. I know you came on this call and you were like, I was looking for the secret sauce and now she's going to start talking about tools. And I didn't come on here thinking tools were the answer. Your toolbox builds your duplication. That's your recipe. You want to duplicate a recipe for success in Isagenix, eat it, love it, share it. And everything about that is what lives in your toolbox. And do you understand what's in your toolbox and how to use it? It's all about simplicity. If you are building infrastructure, if you are talking about ashwagandha and the number of grams of protein and all these things, you're sending off signals to people that they need expertise to do this. Do they need expertise to do this? No. We already told you. They just need to eat it, love it, and share it. That's it. Simple, simple, simple. Here's your toolbox. There are tools that Isagenix makes us. And you guys, I know. I get this all the time where people are like, that is not what I was expecting on the duplication call. Here's the thing. You need to become a master at your own toolbox. What are the things that you have and are you using them? That is where I'm calling you out right now because there are a lot of people that are not using the tools. They're like, well, I've been to enough Isagenix events and I know how to talk about the comp plan and I know how to talk about the products and I can sell it better than the video from Start Your Life. I agree. I do not disagree with that. And there is a time and a place for everything. But if you want duplication, if you want leverage in your business, you have to use the tool. If you don't use the tool, people will never think that they can do what you can do. And I remember the first ICU I ever went to when Hagedorn was there and she was training. And she said, if someone ever says to me in my business, I could never do what you do, that is like death to your network marketing business. You want to make it so simple that someone thinks they can come in and do this. Meaning, for example, I have a question about Isagenix and you say, that's a great question. Why don't you pop into the product group on Facebook and ask that question and get feedback? All of a sudden that's saying to that person, okay, well, I don't have to answer every person's question on every single thing to sign someone up and get them the support they need. The same goes when you enroll someone. If you connect with them on social media, great, let's set up a time to chat. Before the chat, I'm gonna text you a video 10 minutes before we get on the phone. I want you to watch that video so we can spend time catching up when we actually get on the phone. 10 minutes before the phone call, you send them your favorite video from your Isa Tools to Go app that makes the most sense for them. They watch the video, you jump on the phone. And then your job when you get on the phone is just to find out what they liked most about the video and connect to try to find their why. Do you think that person thinks they can duplicate that? Their friend is now all of a sudden interested in Isagenix. They've only been in Isagenix less than 30 days, but their coworkers are talking about they can see the whites in their eye and their skin is glowing. And they think, okay, well, all that Julie did was she sent me a video and she jumped on the phone so she could share a little bit about what she loved about Isagenix. And then she sent me a link to enroll. Yeah, I think I can do that. And you guys, if you are not using the IsaLife app, and if you have not set up carts to go into your IsaLife app, that is seriously the coolest new technology. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go to the Isagenix Business Facebook page and get yourself educated on that, because that seriously is a game changer in enrolling people within seconds. So I never send somebody straight to my website, but absolutely, if I'm talking to them on the phone, I will find out what they want to order. I will put it all into an order basket, and I will text them the link to the IsaLife app, so literally they can process it from their phone in a matter of minutes, okay? So just know those tools are in place. Tools duplicate. Guys, tools duplicate. There is nothing else I can tell you other than that. If you want people on your team to be using three-way calls, you need to be doing three-way calls. All those things duplicate. They will do exactly as you do. And how simple can you make this? How simple can you make this? If your process is complicated, you're not going to duplicate. If you jump on the phone with somebody for an hour to talk about their goals and the 4 pillars of health and everything about Isagenix, they will never think that they can do what you do. Or they will think it'll take them a whole year before they can do what you do. Now, I want to point out that the new member checklist, which is tools to support your team, that is something I just want to talk about briefly, because one of the things I see most commonly is people don't have necessarily, some people don't have trouble enrolling, right? So you have some people that's their biggest challenge is enrolling, and then you have other people who don't have trouble enrolling, but then they maybe don't have great retention, meaning they're not keeping people. And I want to just point out the new member checklist, because I always think it's our responsibility when someone joins you in Isagenix, that is the start of your journey in supporting them. It is not just getting them to the point of enrollment. And actually, I would venture to guess it's actually more critical once they join you on the steps that you're going to take to, now they're going to eat it. You need to have them jump to step 2, which is love it. So everything about those first 2 weeks of their product experience is getting them from step 1, eat it, to step 2, love it. And then step 3 is share it. I almost forgot that. No, just kidding. So to jump from love it to share it, you guys, it's a matter of discussing with them, trying to peel back the layers, finding and connecting with their why. What would make sense for them to share, why they should be sharing these products. So for some people, it's super financial driven. Maybe they just need to get their products paid for. And that's great. That should be a conversation you should be having at the time of enrollment. For most people, I would say they want to have a product experience, which means week 3 is the week that you need to be having that conversation to go from eat it to love it to share it. If you've had somebody that gets into week 3 and you have done your job to get them from eat it to love it, it is your responsibility then to get them from love it to share it. And that can look like a variety of different things. Maybe you're going to do a sip and sample with them. Maybe you're going to help them craft a Facebook post. Maybe you're going to, I don't know, do a joint social media post, whatever that looks like. But it is your responsibility to get them through each of those 3 steps. And most people won't get there themselves. And that is why they need you. And you have to be intentional about taking them from eat it to love it to share it. Okay, does that make sense? So the 3 things that I think are important to really master duplication. Number 1, I could do a whole call on number 1. Duplicate skills, not styles. And this is all about allowing people to have their authentic voice in their own journey. Because here's the thing. Skills duplicate. Like, people won't. So you need to always be reminding people it needs to be about their journey. And I am constantly breathing into people that exactly where they are. If they have lost 2 pounds, if they are sleeping better, if they have more energy, if they feel awake when they get up out of bed in the morning, whatever that looks like, that's their story, and that is enough. The skills duplicate, right? Eat it, love it, share it, using the toolbox, using the tools, understanding the skills of network marketing. That duplicates. That's great. Don't ever make your voice someone else's voice. If you do that, that will be death to your business. If people aren't themselves, they won't succeed, and their friends literally will think somebody's trying to sell them something. If you make it your own and you help them make it their own, they will see success. They won't do what you won't do. We already talked about it. You have to go first. And then pump them up and get them paid. paid. How can you recognize people exactly where they are in their journey? Maybe it's their first time they crushed a double cleanse. Man, you should be like shouting that to the rooftop in your product page, asking for their permission to shout them out on your Instagram story, tagging them in things. How can you pump them up so they actually, there's like chemical reactions that happen when you're like literally pumping people up. You're like, this is the most amazing thing. I am so excited for you. I am so fired up. People will feed off of that. And to me, these things are the most important if you want to duplicate or master duplication. Understanding that skills duplicate, but styles don't. Understanding that you have to go first. And number 3, that you have to be the biggest, most badass cheerleader that you've ever like met through each of those stages. Eat it, love it, share it. That's it, you guys. This is the key here to mastering duplication. So are you still wondering how, right? So I often get this, which is like, okay, that was great, but like, what does that really mean? Like, I don't really get it. Okay, if you're on this call and you're live or catching the recording and you're thinking, okay, well, this was really great, but I'm still struggling with the how. You need to foundationally go back to Isagenix business and literally start to go back through from the start here point. Because if you have never been through Isagenix business yourself and you have never gone through step by step what they recommend, that won't duplicate into your business. And they'll give you the step by step. They do it better than I could ever possibly do. So why would I tell you anything otherwise? And why on a call where I'm training you about the toolbox would I send you anywhere else but a tool? So I would say if you're wondering the how, start by going back to Isagenix business and click start here and start at the beginning and go through. Now, many of you have been there. And so if you're wondering, okay, well, this is great and this is great information, I want you to really think about what are the steps that you're taking in building your business, from prospecting to enrolling to sharing the opportunity to popping consultants and executives and beyond. How simple is your process right now? Could someone duplicate it? Or is it really reliant on you? And I will say this with so much love because I have done it all wrong. See, that's the nice thing about when you've been doing this a while and when you get to the point where they ask you to train on duplication, it's because I've actually just done it all wrong. And that's really the only reason that I'm on here and can talk about it. It's because I've done it wrong. But duplication is about keeping it simple. And you have to look at what you're doing and how simple are you making it for people to do exactly as you are. The way that you talk to people will make a difference. And I will tell you 2 books that if you haven't read them, I strongly, strongly suggest. Number 1 is Go Pro by Eric Worre. He actually can give you some step-by-steps in there too as a great tool for duplication. You read it, you have someone else interested in the business, you have them read it. And then there is a book called, I'm blanking on the author, I think his name is Phil Jones. It's a book called Exactly What to Say. Exactly What to Say. It's not a network marketing business, it's actually a sales book. But if I have somebody that comes onto my team and they have never been in sales, but they are full of passion and excitement, and they're looking to build their own personal skills, the book Exactly What to Say, I think it's Phil Jones is his name. It is an amazing book to help you understand how much and how powerful your words matter and the way that you talk about things matters. Keep it simple, you guys. I had a call just last week and somebody said, well, how would you say this? Or how would you say this, that? And I said, okay, you tell me, what do you love most about Isagenix? And they went off on this whole thing and, and I said, okay, well, that's what I would say if I were you. It just doesn't matter what I would say. And just to know that you'll refine those skills that you go, and so will the people that you meet. And I talk to people the same way I would as if you were my girlfriend of 20 years and we were sitting down to have a cup of coffee. Why? Because if I get technical, if I pull out all my brochures, if I pull out my product catalog and all the things that I have that I could pull out, they will immediately think they can't do it that way. Now, with that being said, there is always a time and a place to show up in a different posturing level, right? So as your skill set changes and maybe you're going to meet a professional and that is warranted because that's the context of the conversation by all means. I'm not saying dumb down yourself, for anyone or anything. I am saying understand who you're talking to, and is the message you're communicating, is it being said in a way that they could duplicate? So knowing your audience is really, really critical. But if you have no idea where to begin, start with isagenixbusiness.com. So I love this quote by Aristotle, which says, those who know do, those who understand teach. That's what duplication is. Duplication is all about teaching. It's all about, it's not enough that you know, it's how many people can you teach to do the same. And I would just say, sometimes as human beings, we have to get our own ego out of the way. I know that I love to talk. I'm so passionate about network marketing. I'm so passionate about this company. I could literally talk on this call for like hours and hours and hours about Isagenix and everything that I love about them. And some people would stay on and they would not, and they would go get a cup of coffee and then they come back and they'd not. And that would really boost my ego. But the reality is the power of that business, this business model, is this slide. Number one, I'm gonna go all the way back. Leverage. Leverage is in people. Leverage is in duplication. If you don't teach, you'll never experience leverage. You'll never experience the most powerful part of this business model. You just won't. So understand, you have to be willing to duplicate. So that's what I got for you guys. I did want to mention that Jill Bowman is going to be on our call next Monday. And if you guys don't know her, you should freaking Google her. Go to FYI and like type her name in. That's a tool, by the way. So go check it out. Type her name in. She's amazing. We really want to fill the lines for her, you guys. She's not financially tied to any of us that are hosting these 90-day action calls, and she has so much to give. If you don't know her story, there is so much power in that. So thank you guys for having me. Christina's going to pop on and talk about our call to action for the week. And now I'm going to kind of go through the chat. If there are questions or things that I can answer, I can maybe pop back on after Christina if there's anything. But thank you guys. I hope this blessed you. I hope that you go out and you look at what you're doing and your processes, and you find ways to simplify so that you can duplicate and you can take advantage of the best part of this business model, and that is leverage. So Christina, take it away.
Hey, thank you so much, Julie. I was like so pumped for this call, just to learn from you and learn your tools, which are not surprising, which is what we need to be teaching. It just is so crazy how we try to overcomplicate it and try to make our own videos and all these things when the company has already done that all for us. So, guys, this week we want you to begin new habits, or continue ones that you've already started. So we want it to be simple. We don't want you to pick like 20 that you're like, I'm going to change my whole morning. I'm going to change my whole life by sticking with these habits. So pick 5. And what they're going to be is they're going to be like a few like personal or like, I'll give you some examples, personal ones, and then a few business ones. So a few of the personal ones could be like getting up an hour earlier, and that could be to work out, to like have some time for yourself, some self-care. It could be to work on your business if you need time before going into work. And then, so getting up earlier could be one of them. Working out at least 30 minutes a day. Could be another one. If you're not already committed to doing that, just do it. I was just listening to this talk about the like 5-second rule. I know it's a book if you guys have read any of that, but it's like when you have that, I need to change this, like we're talking about habits, you just count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just act no matter what it is. So you like put on your workout clothes or set them out the night before, whatever it is, or start walking, just go out of your door. Working out, drinking half your body weight in water. Guys, I seriously have a problem with this, so that's going to be one of mine. And, or giving up like one food category or one food, you shouldn't be, like if you're snacking all the time on something and you probably shouldn't, or that it's like making you not feel well. Or even beginning like a gratitude journal, or just writing down a few gratitudes every morning, every night, really just to get your mindset, into that like gratitude. And then as far as like the business, so we want you to pick like a few of the IPAs, so your income producing activities. And what those are not, they are not listening to trainings and podcasts. They are not like scrolling on social media. They're not like, going into, even like Julie just said, like we want you to go into Isagenix business, but that is not an income producing activity. So these are what they are. They would be like prospecting. I don't love that word, but I know it's like a word that we all use. So like, that's basically just asking somebody to take a look. It's not really the connecting. It's like, yes, you need to be connecting and meeting people all day, but prospecting is actually asking someone if they're willing to take a look at the business or the product. Following up, so making sure that once you present that to people, if they say no, follow up within a couple days. If they say no again, follow up within a couple weeks. If they say no again, put them on a list for like 2 months from then. And then another income producing activity is enrolling. Obviously, that is like our job. But then also enrolling them in like the vision also, like just like Julie was saying, like after they got that product experience, we want to help them learn more about sharing it and what the vision of the company and what their vision for their financial future could be. And then the fourth one would be rank advancing your team. So what this looks like is 3-way calls, or helping your team doing tastings or launch parties, whatever you want to call them, doing Zooms with your team if you're not like local with them. With their people, so rank advancing your team. So I know that was a lot I just gave you, try to pick 5, the ones that you're like ready to get to work on. And then like we mentioned, we want you to get familiar with the tools. So for sure, download those apps, the ISA Sale tools, and then ISA Life if you don't have them already, and get familiar with them. And that's all I got.
Woohoo! Awesome! Thanks, guys. Okay, well, that was a lot. I'm so excited. You guys get into action, get consistent. That's the thing. Doing the thing. Don't be paralyzed. Just go do it. Count to 5. And fail forward and tell everybody about this opportunity. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you next week, and bring everybody on for Jill Bowman. You're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be seriously priceless. So thank you for joining us, guys. See you later. Bye.